Hello, welcome to. I have no idea what this is. It's an emergency broadcast. We have a huge update on the Florian Wirtz situation. Obviously, it's been reported that Liverpool have interest. It's been downplayed a little bit from the Liverpool side, or the club think he's going to Bayern Munich. They'll be there if he's open to a move. David Ornstein reporting Liverpool given huge boost in Florian Wirtz's pursuit. Bayern Munich believe the 22-year-old is on course for Anfield move if he leaves Bayer Leverkusen this summer. Clubs would still need to agree a fee. Ornstein is clear that's not a formality. I assume that's because he got burned on the Caicedo thing when he said personal terms would be a formality. But the German international favours Liverpool FC. He goes on to report Wirtz was in Northeast England recently to house hunt. This is what we were told. When he flew over, it was reported that he came to meet Manchester City. He never met with Manchester City. He met with Michael Edwards and Richard Hughes and then was brought house hunting. The City thing was only ever cover. The entire trip was about Liverpool. Hence why Liverpool flew him over. They didn't fly him over so he could go and visit Man City. They're not Alan Sugar with Emmanuel Petit. It looks like we are now in pole position to get Florian Wirtz from Bayer Leverkusen. My best friend, Fabrizio Romano, the man with the cleverest catchphrase in the game, he's weighed in on this. Liverpool are confident to get Florian Wirtz deal done after fresh contacts in the last 24 to 48 hours. Talks ongoing to get final green light, but Liverpool are now favourites ahead of Bayern in the race for the German gem. Liverpool want to be fast as per David Ornstein. Folks, this is one of those moments where we are on the brink of signing a generational talent, where we're on the brink of signing a transformative player. We didn't realize it when we got Mo, but we'd signed a transformative player. But I think we all knew when we got Alisson and Virgil first, obviously, then Alisson, that they were going to be transformational for us. Florian Wirtz would be a transformational signing for this club. This kid has only just turned 22 years of age. On May 3rd, he turned 22. And he has already done a lot of great things in his career. He obviously was the best player in a Bayer Leverkusen team that went undefeated and won the Bundesliga last season. They also won the German Cup and got to the Europa League final where they lost. He was the best player in the German under-21 team that won the European under-21 championships in 2021. In 2021, Florian Wirtz was 18 years of age and he was the best player at that tournament. He's been Bundesliga player of the season. He's been in the team of the season twice. I would expect that he's in it again this season. With the national team at senior level, 29 caps, 6 goals. Took him a while, but he's really found his groove this season. When we think of him as a player, we know the playmaking that he can bring, but he brings goals as well. So you look at his career, he starts off at Cologne and he spends 10 years there. And Leverkusen sign him in slightly controversial fashion in the summer of 2020. And the expectation is, well, he's, maybe a year or two away. It wasn't summer, it was January 2020, excuse me. He plays 9 games before the end of that season, scores 1 goal. And from there, he's off to the races. The following season, he plays 38 games, scores 8 goals. Then it's 31 games, 10 goals. Leverkusen are still being really careful with him, but then he tears his ACL. Misses a big chunk in the next season, plays 25 games though, so he comes back quite quickly, only scores 4 goals. But the last 2 seasons, he has been outrageous. 49 games with 18 goals last season, 45 with 16 this season. And he's not primarily a goal scorer. He's primarily a creator. But if he's got that type of goal scoring potential as well, and it's worth pointing out that on top of the 16 goals he has this season, he also has 15 assists, and he's played about 3,400 minutes. That's immense production. Absolutely immense production. Last season, like I said, the best player in the Bundesliga by a pretty wide margin, in my view. On a team that went unbeaten. In all competitions, 18 goals and 20 assists. 38 goals and assists in 3,500 minutes. That is incredible for 2 seasons to have that type of production. And I know we talk about Bundesliga tax, it's not quite the level of the Premier League. But this is a kid that was doing that at 20 and 21. Because remember, he's only just turned 22. He was doing that at 20 and 21 years of age. This is a phenom. This is a world-class footballer who will come into our team and not just make a difference. He will massively raise the ceiling of this team. There are very few players in the world as good as Florian Wirtz. And whether it's 120 million or maybe a little bit less that we have to pay, he is going to prove worth it. At his age, with his talent level, what he is already, and what he can become, and how focused he is. This is not a kid that's going to cause any problems. This is not a kid that's got distractions in his life. Florian Wirtz is solely focused on being the best player he can possibly be. Now, obviously, we need to proceed with caution because the deal's not done. The fee's not agreed. But I don't think we go this far down the road with him without knowing what Leverkusen wants and what it would take to get that deal done. And like I said, there has very clearly been either a direction from the club or a request from the club to all the different patch journalists, and I include Ornstein in that, to just err on the side of caution, to err on the side of Liverpool downplaying things. So it very well may be that this is even further advanced than is being reported. It may well be that we are literally in final talks with Leverkusen to get a fee agreed, a payment structure agreed, and get this deal done. Liverpool do not seem to be messing about here. And I said when we signed Frimpong that I thought one of the reasons we may have gone for him over alternatives, such as Vanderson, was that Frimpong could be the lure for the bigger target, which was Florian Wirtz. It's also interesting that we haven't confirmed the Frimpong thing yet, like publicly or anything. It'll get done, no doubts about that. But Frimpong coming across, don't underestimate how big a part that may have played for Florian Wirtz. Those two are best mates, and they will help, Frimpong will help Wirtz assimilate into life at the club a lot easier, because Frimpong grew up in England, knows the Northwest really well, speaks English fluently, perfectly. I don't know what Wirtz's level of English is like, but I'm sure it's quite good. A lot of Germans speak good English. But if he's a little bit nervous with it, Frimpong is there to help. Frimpong doesn't speak Dutch, but is close friends with Virgil and Cody and with Gravenberch from the national squad. Obviously, Virgil is the club captain, so Frimpong's going to have an existing relationship, which should help build a relationship between Wirtz and Virgil quite easily. You can start to see a real picture coming together of what we might look like next season, with Wirtz on the left, Kerkez from left back, Wirtz obviously playing narrow on the left, and Kerkez overlapping him relentlessly. And now the push for Kerkez makes a lot more sense as well, because if we were playing with a more traditional left winger, then someone like an Aït-Nouri or an Alvaro Carrera has made more sense, both because I think Aït-Nouri is just a better player, but he's more of a playmaker. And if you've got a left winger who's a traditional left winger like a Diaz, he's not really a playmaker. So you get the passer in Aït-Nouri, and then that relentless attacking force in Diaz. But with this, you get that relentless attacking and overlapping from Kerkez, and you get the playmaking, the creativity from Wirtz. And that pairing could be absolutely outrageous. As I said, Florian Wirtz has just turned 22 years of age. Milos Kerkez doesn't turn 22 until November. But that's a left flank that could be in situ for a long, long time for Liverpool. So while I think Kerkez is overpriced at 45 million, when you factor him into him and Wirtz as a pairing, concerns about the price go away, because the fit is perfect. There is obviously the possibility that Wirtz plays as a 10, and maybe Dom plays on the left, and that works with Kerkez as well. The risk there is the midfield becomes quite lightweight, especially if we don't sign a 6, which hopefully we will, and it looks like we're at least going to try. But a midfield of Wirtz, Alexis, and Gravenberch is going to get run through. And that's, Wirtz is no shrinking violet. He will work hard. He's just not the biggest guy in the world. He's 5'10", but he's quite slight. Dom is a big, powerful athlete, and we need that with those two in the double pivot. So I think Wirtz is the better fit in that left-sided role. I think if he'd gone to Bayern, he was playing off the left as well, because Musiala is the 10, Elise plays on the right. So, the open position is left wing. And I think that's where we'll use him. And I think that, Bayern, we're going to look to bring him in and have Alphonso Davies. That does work. It's not ideal as a balance with Musiala and Elise, because they're all playmakers. There's no one to stretch in behind. We don't have anyone that necessarily stretches behind, but Dom has more pace, power, and explosivity than Musiala has in that 10 role. So you'll get balance with us. We also have Mo, who's just an elite level goal scorer, elite level creator, and just a freak of nature. Definitely not human. There's a possibility Wirtz isn't human either. This may well be another alien. There's possibilities that this kid comes in and he starts putting in 15 and 15 seasons as if they're nothing to him. Now, obviously, a lot will depend on who we get as our number 9 for what our front 4 looks like. But if it's Mo, Dom, and Florian Wirtz behind a striker, we are going to be very, very hard to stop next season. Very, very hard. Especially with power runners on the flanks. Now, I don't necessarily like the balance of Bradley and Kerkez. Frimpong and Kerkez, though, I do quite like. There's a bit more variety with Frimpong than there is with Bradley. Then it depends on what we do in 9 and 6, but we know what the centre-back pairing will be most likely, Ibu and Virgil. We know we'll have a great goalkeeper. We know we have Ali Mack, who's the best midfielder in the league. It's 9 and 6, and that'll then kind of define quite a bit. We will need that 6 because we need to have someone that can be that first phase progressive passer and build-up. That's where Adam Wharton is absolutely perfect. And we need that number 9. If you're getting in Florian Wirtz, you've got Mo and you've got Dom. You can go a couple of different ways. I think Gyökeres would fit like a glove. Obviously, Isak is the dream signing. Osman would work really well. I think Julian Alvarez would work really well as well. And there may well be that Arne has other things up his sleeve. You know, maybe he's going to change the shape a little bit. Maybe he goes to a boxy midfield with a 2 and a 2 and Mo and Alvarez or Mo and whoever up front. Dalman Wirtz behind two strikers, clear the flanks out, have those fullbacks bomb forward. That's a lot of what it will be like in possession anyway. But if we can get this done, and we're still waiting, I think, to hear from Paul Joyce. I don't think he said anything yet. And I know people are still a little bit scared by certain things that have happened in the past with other deals. But I feel like this one gets done. When Virgil signed and when Mo signed, they both talked about a big summer and who would come in and about improving the team. And what we're doing right now is we're acting like Premier League champions, which we didn't do in the past. You know, we signed Thiago, but he was a 29-year-old Thiago. And we wasted quite a bit of that summer mucking around. We've won the title this season, and we're attacking this window. Frimpong is done. Wirtz looks like it's getting close. Kerkez looks like it's close. We know Mamardashvili's coming in. We might get to June 1st when the transfer window opens and have 4 signings done. And then have the entire summer to sort out the rest, all the sales, plus the other things we need to bring in. This is us being incredibly proactive, incredibly aggressive. Like, be under no illusion. Us getting Florian Wirtz, that is an earth-shaking move for the rest of the Premier League. Nobody else in the Premier League this summer is signing a better player than Florian Wirtz. Nobody. And if we're acting like that, other teams are going to be very, very nervous. Well, what else are they going to do? How do we stop them now with that level of talent joining? And Frimpong and Kerkez play into that as well. Because now we become more explosive, more powerful, more pacey. As I've said, Frimpong's not a good defender. He's a worse defender than Trent. What he is, though, is he's much, much quicker than Trent, and he's much, much more willing to try than Trent. Trent's effort was always the issue. Frimpong, effort's not an issue with him. Most of the time. Sometimes, yeah, maybe. Maybe he's a bit too far forward. He decides it's the 78th minute. I really don't want to do another 50-yard sprint. But Frimpong will go up and down relentlessly. Kerkez will go up and down relentlessly. And if Florian Wirtz is coming into this team and adding a new level of creativity and being able to replicate the goals that Diaz or Gakpo were giving us, all the best to the rest of the Premier League. All the best to them. Anyway, I just wanted to jump on, do a quick pod, because the news had come out. I think it was worth doing. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. Hopefully we get some more news in the next couple of hours or tomorrow that this deal is advancing. Can't afford any sort of lull now. Need to get this one across the line. This is the type of deal. This is the type of signing that sets us up to be very good in the post-Mo Salah era. This is the guy you can reorientate your attack around. Maybe immediately. And maybe that takes the pressure off of Mo and means that Mo can play a little bit freer. He's got a little less of the creative load on him. And he scores more goals because he's getting in better positions and he's getting fed the ball by the type of creator Mo hasn't played with since Phil Coutinho left. I'll see you all again soon. Bye-bye.
Reds, it's Jack here, and that was a clip from one of Anfield Index's audio podcasts. If you have enjoyed the video, make sure you do like, share and subscribe to keep up to date on all things LFC. We record around 100 audio podcasts every month, with our shows featuring match-going fans, top journalists, professional analysts and even Liverpool legends along the way, with the great Dane himself, Jan Molby, joining us every single week. If you want to listen to all our podcasts for free, head over to anfieldindex.com/podcasts. Our audio shows are available wherever you get your podcasts. Just search Anfield Index. Or if you prefer to listen to all our podcasts in full and without any ads, why not head over to AI Pro today to check it out now at anfieldindexpro.com. If you want to get involved in the great growing community of Liverpool fans, check out the Anfield Index Discord. The link is in the description. Do get involved with that from Reds around every corner of the globe. For now, Reds, hope you enjoyed this video.